Yes, Lyle. What's going on, man?
Was Not a lot, man. Not a lot. Just the usual. Preparing to play and recovering from the previous. So yeah, it's all good. Um, and this little bit this month as well. So just trying to do juggle plates and keep plates spinning. But yeah, we're all good. All good,
The,
man.
the pink is back, and I wanted to have a chat with you. Because to be honest, like me and you have a good relationship, and you're always up for this. But I wanted to have a chat with you during Pink October, so we can spread the word.
Yeah.
What is it like? What is it? The whole premise behind you doing Pink October, and where did it start? For those that don't know.
Um. So it was an idea that was kind of born Uh, probably about 8 years ago now, in my own mind. And around the time that it was born, it was a case of like just wearing pink boots.
Mm,
And at that point, pink boots weren't really a thing. There was obviously the berry mercurial fours, I think they were.
yeah.
Um, and that was kind of it. And when they turned up, it was like shock and awe. Like, what is going on? These boots they're just bright pink. What's going on?
Mm,
Um, so originally it was just the boots, and then when it got to the point of me actually being known as a footballer enough that I could do this and make something of it, my hair was blonde. So it was like, right, should we do the hair? And initially I was like, no, we're not doing the hair. No chance are we doing the hair. The hair's not going pink. That's just ridiculous.
mm,
Um, but the pink boots just didn't seem like it was enough.
mm.
So we eventually went with the hair. We did it. We took the plunge. We went pastel pink 2 years ago. Um, and I remember because I decided pastel pink rather than a bright pink like this because it's like I could almost like kind of just play it off
Yeah, yeah.
rather than I got a pink mop on my head.
Mm.
Like so, it was one of them. But last year we decided to go shock and awe pink. And this year we tried a new color, which, if you ask me, is good, but it's not as good as last year's color. So I've already spoken to my hairdresser, and we've decided next year we're going like luminous pink. Like you'll see my head glowing in the dark, and the whole reasoning for it is my own family. To be honest with you, so my nan had cancer when I was a little bit younger, and she beat it, thankfully, and she's with us still now, which is nice because I'm one of the lucky ones in that respect. Um, but she was the reason behind the whole thing, the start of it, and it kind of just snowballed from there. So I'll be honest, I do what I do from almost like a selfish seed
Mhm.
where the initial thought was my family and my situation, and in that way it's kind of a little bit selfish, but it's kind of grown into a footballing community getting involved in it, and that's what I wanted, was more people involved and more people raising awareness. And I mean, this year for me the awareness side of it is bigger than ever, because of everything that's happened in the world. It's very difficult to kind of go around asking people for money and saying like, can you donate please, can you donate please, when people haven't even got jobs, and some people aren't even, what's the term, food secure, as
Yeah.
it were. So it's very difficult this year to be going around saying like, can we have your money please give us some money, like can you donate, and blah blah blah. So this year I've said like I want to go heavy on the awareness and have as many conversations with as many different people as I possibly can, so that when it comes around to next year and hopefully things are back to normal and we've got fans back in the stadiums and life is more normal,
Mm.
that we can then say, right, like, look, please, can everyone donate as much as they can, as much as is humanly possible for them to donate, whether it's a penny or a pound or £10. You know what I mean? So that's why this year I just want to have as many conversations with as many different people as I possibly can, and just kind of get out there that this is a thing and it's going to be bigger now because of the loss of fundraising through this pandemic.
Mhm.
So Cancer Research UK, who are the biggest in cancer research in this country, they've lost 165 million
Wow.
in funding just simply by people not being able to fundraise. And it's kind of set them back uh, on their original goal, which was to have 3 of 4 cancer patients survive.
Mhm.
So that is their goal. That is their mission statement, I suppose. And because of the lack of funding this year, it's kind of put everything back a little bit, and they're on a back foot, and it's difficult. But with everyone coming together as a community, we can kind of try and plug that gap over a period of time, and hopefully we'll get to a point where 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6, 9 out of 10 people who have to deal with cancer are survivors.
Yeah, and that well said, man, and I totally respect that. And one of the things I like personally about you is even away from Pink October, you use your platform for good always. And how important is it for you as someone who has a platform? How important is it for you to just use your platform for good and actually use it to spread awareness about things like cancer research and everything?
It's so important. Um, Look, at the end of the day, for footballers, we have we have a global audience. We have an audience in and around the football clubs we play for. So in my instance, Nottingham here, when I was at Charlton, in and around Southeast London, there was a following and a number of people who knew what I was doing and supported me in what I was doing. So we have a following, and it's very, very easy. And I'm not taking shots at anyone, but
Mhm.
it's very easy for us as footballers to have our own clothing brands, um, hat collections, uh, I dare say supplements, and kind of push that agenda on people. But I decided that I thought this is what's important to me as my family. So what is then subsequently important is then having those people around me for as long as possible. And I think they're talking about 1 in 2 people are going to suffer from cancer. They're going to have to deal with it.
Crazy.
So if it's 1 in 2, and then we have to get to, or we can get to a point of 3 out of 4 surviving, then all of a sudden the numbers start creeping up and up and up. And it's just about understanding
Yeah.
the DNA of the specific cancer, because there's over 100.
Mm.
And this is why it's so difficult. It's not, cancer isn't like a uniform drug. So it's not like it's not built, or sorry, it's not got a uniform virus. It's not built in one specific way. So let's take, for instance, like a paracetamol.
Mm.
You take a paracetamol, you know what's in that paracetamol. It's 500 milligrams of this. This is the ingredients that make up paracetamol.
Mm.
Brilliant. The DNA of cancer, depending on which cancer you have, is different.
Yeah.
So there is no set of, let's call them ingredients, because that's the easiest way of describing it.
Mm.
Is you make tuna pasta, you put tuna in it, you put pasta in it, you put sweet corn in it, you put mayonnaise in it, you might put onion in it.
Mm.
That's your ingredients. With cancer, it's so different, and it's so different how it replicates and how it attacks the cells. And it's trying to get to a point of understanding that, which is then got me to a point of understanding that it's not quite as simple as let's just get rid of cancer.
Yeah.
So that, for me, that has been the biggest learning of this year, is that that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
um Whereas even though I was doing this, I was kind of half oblivious to the fact that cancer is and the way it is what it is, and how it mutates, and how it attacks our bodies, and what causes it to do that. So that's the one thing I've learned this year, and obviously I hope that people listening will kind of understand my food analogy, because I think that's the kind of easiest way of putting it.
Yeah.
um
I 100% totally agree with you. I get your analogy, and I just hope that your goal, with the help of the community and whatnot, like you get there. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's so
yeah,
important. And me as a just forget me, just on a human level, like football is literally a very small part of your life when you read. No, it's a big part of your life now, but in the grand scheme of life, it's a very
No,
small.
it's tiny.
Yeah. So like for you to come out and say these things, these are things that really affect people's lives. So
Yeah.
the more people we can get, on board and doing their own research and maybe donating if they can, then the better. And one thing, the last thing I did want to say on you using your platform was I saw that you put up, I think it might have been a week or two ago, that boy that was he said he didn't like his skin color.
Yeah.
Listen, no, I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. Like boy to boy, when I saw that, it touched me, because like there's so many other people who might say that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time we like to act like there isn't racism around and whatnot. And as an adult, it's bad and it's uncomfortable having to deal with that. But when a child is having to deal with that they're coming home and saying that, it's yeah, it really hits home. And for you as a player, how important is it for you to actually show that nah, I'm human too, and I understand these things, and you took time out your schedule to go and do that? Why was that important?
Well, it came about. I I had something pop up on my phone saying someone wants to send you a message. So I went into my requested messages on Instagram, and it wasn't the message that I eventually read, but I was just scrolling down and this, I don't know why I clicked on this message, and it was from this little boy's mum, Jahobi's mum. And when I started speaking to her, I sent her a message back, and all she asked me for was like, can you get like a couple of like a 10-second video?
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't think a 10-second video is going to cut it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I need to have a conversation with this boy and let him know that like he is normal.
Hmm.
But in the same way that he's normal, he's special,
Yeah.
because everybody is special. So I got him a shirt. I got him a little shirt, and because I knew he goes to Nottingham Forest with his granddad, I believe it is.
Hmm.
And he's a big fan and he loves grabs. And I just, when I was speaking to his mum said he was 6. He was born on Christmas Day, so he's exactly the same age as my nephew.
Yeah.
And my nephew's mixed race as well, and he's got curly hair and he's got light brown skin. Like, do you know what I mean? And the more I thought about it, and the more I looked into it, I just thought that could be my nephew. Like
Yeah.
that could have been me
Hmm.
24 years ago. Jesus, I'm old. 24 years ago, like that could have been me. And like we didn't really have access to our heroes. Like I grew up worshiping Thierry Henry, but we didn't really have access to our heroes. So I thought, you know what? It's the right time for me to actually go and have a conversation with this little boy, because he can't hear that he's not normal and that he can't be whatever he wants to be.
Hmm.
And look, I'm not saying that, because it was his best friend, his little 6-year-old best friend, that said to him, "You can't be a footballer because you've got curly hair and you're not white."
Hmm.
So I'm not saying that little 6-year-old boy is racist, because I
Yeah.
don't believe that 6-year-old boy has any idea. He
Hmm.
doesn't have a clue what he's saying. But the issue is that he's hearing that at home 100%, because that can't come from anywhere else. You can't just repeat that,
Hmm.
because it has to come from somewhere. So that has to be learned behavior at home. So he's heard that, and that is the root of racism,
Hmm.
is being told these things, repeating these things, and then becoming learned behavior.
Yeah.
So I hope that the conversation can be had after I've had that conversation,
Hmm.
not between Jahobi and his mum, not between Jahobi and his uncle, or his cousin, his little cousin as well, who's a little mixed race boy, and he was funny as anything as well. But between maybe Jahobi's mum and Jahobi's best friend's mum
Hmm.
or dad or whoever it may be. But I hope that kind of thing is seen, so that we can have these conversations at the age of 6. We can say to these 6-year-old kids, you are all special, you are all great,
Yeah.
you will all have more talent in different areas, whether that be academically or in sports or whatever it might be, because we all have our own strengths and we all have our own weaknesses. But I hope that that conversation can be had at his school and his teachers can address that and say, look, Jahobi's good at football. Little Dylan's good at football. I don't know. Like Joanne's good at drawing, and Letitia's good at theatre or just anything. Do you know what I mean? So everyone knows that you're special, he's special, she's special, and we all come together and we are part of this community that makes us human.
Yeah. And
because that's all it is.
Yeah, no, that is all it is. And just so people who are listening to this, that don't think that you're just doing this as a media or whatnot, I can personally vouch that when I came, you know that match I was at, the Charlton Blackburn one last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and after, it was a crap game, you lot lost 2-0, you lot were terrible. I'd have to put but you remember the game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think, you know, for whatever reason, people were, you were just fed up because you lost and you were in a bad or whatever. And you just wanted to go home, blah, blah, blah. So you told me about that. But outside, there were kids waiting for you. And I kid you not, I was just thinking, okay, we've seen this, they're just going to go home, get in this car and go. And you literally stayed outside and took pictures with them, spoke to them and whatnot. So I can personally vouch that this is who you really are. And it's not just a, you know, like you've lost the game or whatever, but that's not the kid's concern. The kid's concern is seeing their hero. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, man. So I love that. But yes, you're now at Nottingham Forest. Right. I've got questions for you, yeah? First thing, was there ever, in fact, yeah, no, let me ask this. Before I get into life at Nottingham, was there ever any truth in the whole going to Turkey rumours?
There was interest and there were conversations that were had. I think, to be honest, I think there was 4 or 5 clubs in Turkey who were interested. But for me to uproot and leave England, it was like the offer had to be the right offer. It had to be the right offer and the right opportunity. So if, let's say, for instance, I can't remember who won the league out there last year, but they were unreal. Gail Clichy's out there at this club, this specific club. I can't remember what the name of the club is. But if they turned around to me and said, right, look, Champions League football, this is what we're offering. This is what we want to do. This is the project. This is how we see you fitting into that project. Then fine, we can sit down and have a conversation. But it never got past the point of here's the offer. It was like, it was here's the offer, and okay, well, what about the project? What about the vision? Where do I fit into this? Am I going to get to speak to the manager? What's going on? And none of that ever really happened and never really materialized. So it kind of is what it is. Like there was, I mean, I'll be honest, we had interest from England, we had interest from Scotland, and when I say interest, there was interest in offers. Like we had contract offers put on the table. So England, Scotland, America, Turkey, Greece, Asia, Qatar, all over the place, everywhere, all over the place. But it was about whittling that down to what's right for me at this point in my career and in my life, and ultimately I came out with Nottingham Forest is the place that I want to be.
And what was it about, you know, offer from Nottingham apart from the 150k a week?
I'll tell you what, you got that miles wrong. It's 250k a week. No. So I met the manager after lockdown had been lifted. We had a walk around Regent's Park, and he told me about his vision and what he wanted to do and all of that kind of stuff. And I already knew a few of the boys from playing against them and from previous clubs in my career, Grabs especially. And I had been told that this group of boys was a really good group, an honest, good group of lads who just wanted to work hard and win. And yeah, look, everyone knows what happened at the back end of last season. Results were bad for a period of time, culminating in no playoffs for the club. And then we didn't start great. And now we have a new manager, and everything is really good.
Yeah,
Really good.
so in saying that, what is it like the psyche behind things where you're used to being, if you don't mind me saying, top dog at Charlton, the main striker, if you're fit, you're playing and you're starting. What has it been like for you now where you joined a new club, you're ready to go, and for the first time in a while, you're not, an automatic starter? Tell the truth, what has that been like for you?
It's horrible. It's horrible. Like, I'll be honest, when I met the manager and when I spoke to him, he told me that I was coming in to play as a front two with Grabs.
Yeah.
It's not happened. He has obviously now been relieved of his position, and a new manager's come in, and I've sat down and had a conversation with him about how he wants to play, and he has posed some questions to me. Now, the big thing for me is I was out of football effectively for 5 months. I was running and I was keeping myself in shape, but nothing can prepare you for a game of football. So I was out of football for 5 months. If you have a 5-month injury and then you have a 3-week, let's call it pre-season to get yourself back to fitness, you're going to be nowhere near it. Added to the fact that I didn't play in all of the games during that period because the manager had other people to get fit as well. It kind of was a bit of a mess, to be completely honest with you, whereby, and probably still nowhere near fit enough. I could go out there and play 60 minutes, but could I go out there and play 90 minutes at full tilt? Hammer and tongs, like you've seen me.
Yeah.
Could I go and do that? No chance. I need 5 or 6 games before I'm going to be anywhere near that. So all I can do is work on the opportunities that I'm afforded. Now, I'd like to think that whenever I've played, I've made a difference. And that's the biggest thing I can do is show the right attitude, which I'm doing, and work hard in training, work hard in the gym, and then work hard when I do get my opportunities. And the other thing is that there's going to be plenty of opportunities, including the game we've just played on Saturday against Blackburn. We got 7 games in 22, 23 days or something like that. So we're not talking about, is there going to be enough time for you to actually go and play? Yeah, there is, because we've got a condensed season and the same number of games to play. So there's going to be plenty of games. I will get fit. And when the chance comes, it's then up to me to take that chance and keep the shirt. So it's a very different kind of mindset that I have to have, where I'm the one doing the chasing now, rather than being the one who's being chased. But people seem to think, and I've had plenty of snarky comments from idiots who haven't got a clue about who I am or my actual attitude. People seem to think that, oh, haha, you're not playing, you're useless, and you're now just a glorified bench warmer. No. All right, count me out. Go on, I dare you. See what happens.
Yeah.
But these are the same idiots. These are the same idiots that would have me back in their team or in their team at the drop of a hat. So just let them keep talking.
It's so funny because they obviously know that you're a top player. They obviously know it, but I can see it burns them that you've left. I can see it burns because you can put up anything. You can put up great result. I'm happy we won, and it's like they just wait. They're just waiting for you to post, and then they
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely.
Bro, I posted about this, right? I posted about this, and all of a sudden I'm getting people putting snake emojis on it. I'm thinking, this is about charity. This is nothing to do with football. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you?
But
Like,
yeah, it's so funny because I know, and I need to dig out the podcast to find you. Where, for me personally, when I looked at the championship and I looked at like the strikers that are there, I've put you in my top 5 for the like goal scorers because I'm not just saying that because you're cool, but I proper like rate you, and like I've been to your game, like I talk to you regularly, and I know what you're on. For me, it was actually quite surprising that you didn't end up in Prem. Honestly, I really thought a Prem team would take a punt on you. Do you get what I'm saying? And but your time will come. And one thing that I did want to ask you, to kind of touched on it, is like, why do you think there's this almost like a stubbornness, with all due respect, to stick to a certain formation when you have 2 hot strikers in the league? You have 2 hot strikers in the league who could bag 20 goals each, but you just stay so stubborn. Like, wouldn't it be the better option to just play to your strengths? And even within the team, you've got real creativity. Do you get what I'm saying? So why do you think there is this stubbornness? Why not just go and just do 2 up top?
I can only assume you're talking about the previous manager, and at this point,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, because that's what I was told upon like the conversation being started about me joining the football club, was that this is how we're going to go and that's what we want to play. So I honestly, I don't know. I think he made a comment about me not being fit enough, which fine, that's fine. I'm not fit enough, but if I'm not playing games, I'm not allowed to play in the 23s, and like, what can I do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing extra running. I'm doing everything over and above that I've been set to do. And like, I'll be honest with you, I've been working on all sorts of stuff off the pitch, to be stronger and fitter and better. And it just didn't work. Right, at the end of the day, the manager thought he did what he thought was best for us as a team and the football club. Ultimately, the people who own the football club deemed that not to be in alignment with their interests, and as in all football and all football clubs, the manager was thanked and moved on. And now we have a new manager, and a manager who knows this league like the back of his hands. I think he's been promoted out of it twice, and he is, by all accounts, a very good guy. And look, if we're all pulling in the right direction, I see no reason as to why we can't bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be, and achieve, because he is going to have us physically at it, mentally at it, and if that's the case, then we have enough quality in the squad to win games. And it's as simple as that.
Like you said, you definitely have the quality to win the games, and it's so mad how even people who may not even watch Championship football that much, they all knew that Notts Forest was struggling. That's how much. That's how much like of a sure thing that you lot. How much of a sure thing it would be that you guys would hit the ground running. You know, you made some, so you got Cyrus Christie, obviously he's coming. You got Lockhart, you got Freeman, you've got yourself. On top of that, you've got the players who are already there. Oh yeah, I spoke about this last week or whenever. You see Samba Soya, absolute madness.
He's a destroyer.
Yeah, absolute madness. Like, honestly, like, whenever I watch him play, even before, if he's going for a tackle, I'm already like,
Oh, don't, bro. Last week in training, right? A ball got whipped across the box, and I kind of half went, I don't really think that's for me. And the next thing I know, Samba's gone in at like knee height with his head, and he's just been clattered. And I'm looking at him thinking, you must be dead. 100% you got to be dead. Or at least knocked out. My man just rolled over, got up and just ran off laughing. I'm thinking, what is going on? Like, what? Like, seriously, he is, I swear to you, he is a destroyer.
Yeah.
That is what he is. He is a destroyer.
Honestly, I don't think there's anyone else in the league that can do what he does better than him. And that's like,
No.
yeah, there's no one. And I just want to say that. But yeah, you guys do have the quality to bounce back from this. Obviously, you got the win over the weekend. When I watched the highlight, I'm not gonna lie to you, it wasn't. I didn't really feel like you guys battered them, but at the end, it don't matter. You got the win, which was the most.
Yeah.
You got the win, which was the most important thing. But on to tomorrow. Who you guys got tomorrow?
Rotherham tomorrow.
So you got Rotherham. Oh, my guy, Mikel plays for them actually. Do you know Mikel?
No.
Mikel Miller.
Mikel.
They just signed on.
Okay.
He's
No.
I was with him at Carl Shorten, but yeah. What's the attitude in the camp? Obviously, you've got your win now. What's the attitude like in the camp tomorrow?
We've got to go and win. We're at home. We've got to go and win the game. They will come and they will graft. We know that they will graft, and they have their own qualities. And they're a good team. There's no givens in this league at all. So there's no game you can look at and go, yeah, we'll beat them. Not a problem. There's not one single game like that. The teams that have come up, you look at Wickham, you look at Rotherham, they have their own game plan. They're different. They are different, the game plans, but they have their own game plan. And I don't think you'll see many teams working harder than Rotherham work. So that has to be the base level and of everything. You build from that point of, we're not going to be outworked. And then you say, okay, right now we're going to look to get to a point where our quality shows through, and you can ultimately create more chances and win the game by scoring more goals. But you have to start with that base level, and it's you do not get outworked. And it's going to be difficult because Rotherham work hard. They work very, very hard.
Ain't it crazy how no matter how much quality you get in, no matter how much talent you have in your team, the basics of just outwork your opposition just always come through.
It's the basis of everything in life. Is you if you want to do better than somebody who is on the same playing field as you, you have to outwork them. And football is no different. The work is slightly different. We're talking psychologically, you have to outwork them and outmaneuver them, and physically, you have to outrun them. And for us to do that, we're going to have to get to it. And I think there is no way we win the game tomorrow without outworking them. So we have to outwork them, and then we have to show the quality that we have, which we do have, because some of these players are honestly unbelievable.
Yeah, no. Anyway, I hope you guys win. I really want to see you climbing up the table.
Thank you.
I do think that playoffs is easily still achievable. It's still early days anyway, and you guys might just be going on a bloody 5, 6, 7, 8 game winning streak, and all of a sudden you're up there. And when I look at the league, like in seasons gone by, like the last 2, you look at Leeds who are always sort of just gonna run away with it, and I don't see that this year. I feel like anyone can literally come and we'll see. But very quickly, I'm curious to know, what's Anthony Knockhart like? Because when I see him play, he looks like he's got tons of ability, but what's he actually like up close as a player?
I don't know yet. We haven't actually seen him. No, we haven't actually. we haven't actually seen him yet. From what I can gather, there's been stuff that needs to be done, i.e., like fitness tests and this and that and whatever that has to be done as part of the protocol to then be coming into training. So, as far as I'm aware, that's what's going on at the moment. But then, by the same token, he signed on, was it Saturday, Friday?
Friday, probably.
And then we were away anyway. We were in the hotel. So we played the game Saturday, come back, and then like yesterday was like a recovery session.
Yeah.
And then today we've done a light session because it's like the game's tomorrow. So there's not really been a lot of training going on. So I assume as well, alongside that, it's a case of get him up to speed and get him ready and fit, and that he's ready to hit the ground running. So that's all done by whoever does that, and we just kind of take care of our side of it.
I'm proper looking forward to seeing how this for you guys, because yeah, man, when you look at your squad in years gone by, no disrespect to anyone, but your squad could easily be someone and a team at the bottom end of the Premier League, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
based on quality and the players you have in it. Just goes to show the difference in a couple of years in the quality of the Championship.
Yeah.
Have you noticed it over the years?
So I've more noticed it in League One. But what you tend to notice is before you notice the quality of the players, you tend to notice the size of the clubs. So you look at League One.
Adam Armstrong said that last week as well, actually. Funny enough.
So you look at League One, and like in the last, excluding last season, obviously I was in the Championship, but my last 2 years at Wimbledon and my first year at Charlton, we're playing against the Wigans of this world, the Sunderlands of this world, Portsmouths, Rotherhams, Charltons. Like when I was at Wimbledon. So like we're talking about big football clubs here. And I think what's going to happen is as the money from the Premier League keeps filtering down and teams get relegated and don't go straight back up, you're going to end up with bigger clubs and bigger stadiums and bigger fan bases and better players playing further and further down the ladder because the standard of player is getting better.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side of that, now you've got the wage cap and all of this. You're finding there's so many players without jobs. There's so many players without work, and they can't find jobs because, right, the way they look at it, if they've been playing in the Championship or in the Premier League, is, well, I don't want to go down to League One and earn £2,000 a week because that's all that's being offered. And look, don't get me wrong, £2,000 a week is a hell of a lot of money. But when you've earned 20, 25 grand a week for the most of your career or for a prolonged period, these players will look at that and go, it's not worth moving my family to wherever I'd have to move them to and going through all of that kind of hassle. So I do wonder what is going to happen now with League One and League Two, because I think the clubs that come up from League Two to League One will be okay because the difference in money isn't going to be that big. But then the clubs that are coming up from League One to the Championship, I wonder how they are going to be able to stay up and then establish themselves, because at the end of the day, let's call them smaller clubs. They're always going to have the threat of, well, if we go down, we're going to have to cut our wages from however many millions to 2.5 million. So it's very, very difficult now. And they're talking about a wage cap coming in the Championship. And look, I understand that for the sustainability of football, that is what's necessary, especially in this current period where we have no fans in the stadiums, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. When you've got people going to the opera, you've got crowds that strictly come dancing.
Yeah.
But you can't have people in a football stadium, which is outside.
I was going to bring that up to you, actually, because obviously right now you're playing without fans, but it's actually like, you actually know the reasoning behind it, because it's actually crazy how, like you said, in all of these places, I went to the gym today, bloody ram in that gym. Do you know what I mean? And you can go to a stadium, let's say the stadium has a capacity of 20,000, but if you offer a reduced capacity of just 10,000, they're equally able to still be socially distant, and it just makes no sense. So, like, do you actually know why they're staying so strong on this point?
I haven't got a clue, and it makes no sense because it's like I see students going out in groups, and I see them walking down the streets, and I see people like stood outside the pubs. There's a pub literally up the road, and I've seen 50 people, 100 people stood outside of it, and I'm thinking, no one's really socially distancing there. It doesn't seem to really be a problem to anyone who owns the pub because they're not really saying anything, and anybody who's outside isn't really saying anything.
Yeah.
But you can go in a group of 6, but you can't go in a group of 7.
Yeah.
But what if 7 people live in your house?
Yeah.
Or you leave one of them at home? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then they talk about, oh, COVID cases are rising and blah, 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 and all of this. No. A COVID case is when somebody's hospitalized. A COVID case isn't a positive test. Because you can have 1 million people test positive, but if only one person's in the hospital, how many COVID cases have you got?
1.
You've not got 1 million. You might have 1 million you might have 500,000 who are asymptomatic. You might have the other 500,000 or 499,999 who are in bed for 2 days with the flu. But one person is in hospital. So you have 1 case. You don't have 1 million cases. And then you see the government are saying, okay, right, well, these are the death numbers today. 100 people have died within 28 days of testing positive for coronavirus. Okay, but have they died from coronavirus? Because people die of the flu and people die of pneumonia. You don't die with pneumonia, do you? If you get hit by a car and you've got pneumonia, do they go, he died with pneumonia? No. You died because you got hit by a car. Pneumonia didn't kill you. It might have killed you, but you died because you got hit by a car and your head is now all over the pavement. Right? Is coronavirus killing these people, or are they dying with coronavirus? Because their terminology is he's dying with it, or she's dying with it, or that person is dying with it. This person isn't dying of it. But now we're now so worried about this thing, and it's because of mainstream media that we're so worried about this, that like it's like all our own natural thought processes have gone out the window. And it's actually scary how this has happened, because like if you actually look at what they're doing and look at the way they're presenting these numbers and go on the official the ONS website, the Office for National Statistics, they'll tell you that these are this is the COVID numbers, but it includes pneumonia and flu. Oh, okay. So is it COVID or is it pneumonia or is it the flu? Because the flu kills and now we're getting to this time of the year where the flu actually does start killing people. And don't get me wrong, the flu wipes out the old, it wipes out the vulnerable. And who has been dying from coronavirus? The old and the vulnerable. Now I looked at the other day, and this was about 6 weeks ago, actually. From February until 6 weeks ago, how many people under the age of 19 with no comorbidities had died of coronavirus?
Not that many, actually.
4. 4. How many under 14? Under 40 had died from coronavirus with no comorbidities? 19. So now we actually get to a point of realizing that this isn't just the virus. This is other things in play. It's not the virus is killing people. It's the virus and the cocktail of illnesses that people have, whether they're asthmatic or diabetic or whatever it may be. And that's not me saying that these people don't matter, because everyone matters. Every single life matters. But by the same token, let's not make out like coronavirus is going to be the be all and end all when the flu is killing just as many people each year, but we don't shut the world down because of that. We didn't shut the world down because of SARS-1. We didn't shut the world down because of bird flu. Why? But why are we shutting the world down now? And it's getting worse again. This is now the problem. They talk about this second wave. No. It's all nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
I can tell you really thought about this.
No, honestly, I got to the point of being so sick and tired of people telling me this and telling me that I was like, no, I will look into this myself. So I started looking into it, and I have been looking into it, and it's so frustrating because everybody wants to get back to normality, but we can't get back to normality because we're not allowed.
Mm.
So if they open football stadiums and say, right, you don't have to go to football, by the way, like nobody putting a gun to your head and saying you will go to football.
Yeah.
So if they open football stadiums and say, look, you can go to football if you want. If you want to wear a mask, you can. If you don't, then not a problem. But they're not. They're just saying, no, you can't have football stadiums open. What are you on about football stadiums? What is football?
And do you know what's crazy? What's crazy? These matches behind closed doors. I went to one the other week here. I went to a match behind closed doors. There's people there.
Yeah. Of course there are.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
So
because what it is anybody who puts money into a football club, whether that be sponsorship or whatever it may be, they're allowed.
Yeah.
Why are they allowed? Well, because they're a sponsor. Okay, but why are they any different to anyone else?
Mm.
Because the fan pays his money. The sponsor might pay a little bit more money, but the fan still pays his money. And the fan probably pays his money for a longer period of time, meaning that fan puts more money into the football club anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the sponsor's allowed in, but the fan isn't.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's just got to the point now. I saw Ian Wright wrote about it. He wrote a column about it. And I think everybody's just got to the point of just open the stadiums, because you're going to end up doing even more damage to football in general and people's mental health and mental well-being than the number of people you're saving from this virus.
Yeah, and it's definitely one that they should just do, because if you look at every other aspect of life, it's being allowed to carry on. It's being allowed to go about for some reason. But it comes back to that thing where they always put footballers or football as, the be all and end all, and they put it on such a pedestal. Like when they were talking about, it's meant to be a political thing, but they'll talk about footballers having to take wage cuts. Do you know what I mean? There's always there's always something about football where it goes away from the norm. So for me, they need to open up the stadiums, and they're talking about. I saw something about a loan or a bailout that the League One and League Two clubs have rejected. But to be totally honest, a lot of those clubs, well, I don't know this for a fact, but a lot of those clubs would be okay if they would have allowed fans.
100%. If the fans are allowed back in, these clubs would be fine.
Yeah.
But this is the issue, right? Footballers are a very, very easy target. We are a very easy target. So the highest earning 250 footballers in this country right now earn 4 times less. I believe it's about 2.5 billion a year they earn between them. They earn 4 times less than the highest 250 paid bankers, who earn 10 billion in this country. But they want to come for us. Why? Why do they want to come for us?
Yeah.
Why? Because their friends are these bankers. These multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires are their friends. These are the circles that they work in and they roll in, as it were. So they're not going to come for their friends. The same way I'm not going to come for footballers, because I'm one of the group. We are okay, we're not a family, but we are a group, and we're all in this together. We're a union. Like if we start infighting, then it's going to cause all manner of problems. But let's just conveniently forget that the same 250 bankers, highest earning bankers in this country, earn 4 times the money. But we'll forget that because it just doesn't fit the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, what can you do?
I mean, hopefully. Is there anything scheduled in regards to that decision? If
nothing that I've heard. It was supposed to be the 1st of October. They were going to start allowing fans back in their couple of thousand, few thousand, whatever it might be. But I think they were talking about a third of your capacity, because that way you could still, and no away fans, and that way you could still be socially distanced.
Yeah.
So we'd be able to have about 9,000 fans in the stadium,
imagine that,
which would be amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I've played in front of 4,000 and 3,000 and 6,000 at Wimbledon, and it was like this isn't a very big crowd. But now I'm looking at 9,000 going, oh my God, that'd be amazing. Right. So I suppose everything's about perspective.
Yeah.
When you go and you play away, when I was at Wimbledon, you go away and you play in front of 14,000 people at Wigan, let's say, for example. It's like, oh my God, you're looking around and there's just so many people. And it's great. And then all of a sudden we're not even playing in front of, we're probably playing in front of about 50 people at the moment. And of those 50 people, 40 of them are footballers. Like, do you know what I mean? So you've got your squad, their squad, a few extra players that aren't in the squad.
Yeah.
So like we're playing in front of literally no one, and it's so bad.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, because when football came back, you obviously wasn't playing. You obviously wasn't playing. So now you've come back now, new season. What was it like for you? Like that first match in front of no one? Was it like
It was horrible. It was horrible. Right. So there was a point we were sat on the bench. This was at half time actually. So for a couple of minutes, like everyone's gone in and whatever. And we were sat on the bench, right? And we were at QPR. And we were playing a game on the bench, right? Because there was nothing going on or whatever. We were playing this game on the bench, like the planes come into land over the opposite stand, so you can see like the planes coming into land at Heathrow. And we were playing like, will the plane go behind the stand before it gets to the corner? Like, this is what we were playing, because it was like, what else have we got going on? Honestly, it's like during the breaks in the games and stuff like that, you get an injury or whatever, you're just looking around going, Jesus Christ, this is crap. Like, this is so crap. You can't hear anything. Nobody's abusing anyone. Like, nobody's singing a song.
You must miss that. Even the away fans just chirping at you.
Oh, I love the away fans chirping up at me. It's great. Like that's honestly most of the fun for me.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better when you score goals. But it's like, I just want some atmosphere now, and we're all saying the same thing. All of us just want some atmosphere, and we have got to the point of we've had enough, but there's not really a great deal we can do. So, but what do you do?
Yeah, well, so tomorrow you said you got Rotherham at home. Hopefully you guys go and do a job. Hopefully you bag. Do you know what I mean?
I'm gonna try.
Well, hopefully you bag. I think you will. You know what? I'm going to stick my neck out and say, I think you're going to score tomorrow. Yeah, I think you're going to score tomorrow. And then, but thanks for this chat, man. No, it's obviously for those that have just come onto this podcast, you've actually been at my live show. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was actually this time last year. You spoke at my live show. So, and you were well received, and I'm happy to have you back on. I hope I don't ever pressure you to come back on, do I?
No. It's all good. It's all good.
Cool. Yeah. So, I want nothing but the best for you, man. Like you're a top man, and I think my whole thing behind having this podcast as well is to bridge the gap between player and fans and whatnot, because traditional media won't allow you to do that. So
no, it won't.
Yeah, they won't allow you to do it. I'm glad that I've had you on, and a lot more people can come and see for themselves. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, thanks for this. Hope you've had fun. And those watching at home, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, get at me in the comments and stuff like that. Are you tweeting yet? Are you allowed to tweet?
I'm not tweeting at the moment. Nah, I'm not tweeting at the moment. I can't be dealing with the hassle, to be honest with you.
It's so funny. Like, you can put on your Instagram, and I feel like that one you can take it or whatever. If you tweet, the sky is blue. Literally. Literally.
Bro.
And the thing is, I know sometimes I've seen you when you were tweeting, and I can see that there's banter, but then there's always those idiots who just take it too far and
Always.
yeah.
Always.
Anyway, we'll see. But this will probably come out tomorrow, by the way. Or would you prefer,
Cool.
it to come out Wednesday?
Whenever you want, bro. It's up to you.
Okay, cool. Because obviously, anyway, you lot ain't gonna lose. You're gonna win tomorrow anyway. You're gonna win. You lot turned the corner. You lot turned the corner. But yeah, love for that, Lyle. And yeah, man, I'm sure I'll be chatting to you, guys.
Cheers, my bro. Take care.